we've keyed it to. It's not a tutor or in any other sense a directly instructional system. Interventions would have to come from somewhere else. They could come from face-to-face instruction. They could come from formatted web pages where you're giving learners instructions about ways to learn or particular kinds of information to address. It could come from other resources on the internet, or it could come from structured participation, either mediated through the internet or in face-to-face groups like in problem-based learning. What NStudy does that's not completely unique, but a bit unique in the particulars that it does, is it gathers extensive data about what learners are doing at the time that they're doing it. And it records very low-level events like windows opening and closing and buttons being clicked, the kinds of things that geeks are interested in. It also can identify which units of information a learner is operating on, and I'll show you a little bit of that in a moment. For instance, when you highlight something, it records not only that you have highlighted, but what text you highlighted. It can characterize the context of operations because each of these data are recorded in a time-sequenced, time-stamped log. So we can look previously to any particular event to determine what the context for that event was. We get the onset time of events, and also since the onset of a second event signals the offset of a prior event, we can measure durations. So we can get psychological information like latencies, which are important for some kinds of questions that people address. And we also get various kinds of metadata. So for example, when you create a note, I know that you authored the note, when you authored it. And because we have some social features in the system, if I edit the note, it's recorded that I edited it and at the time at which I did that. So we have a kind of running record about what happens to these so-called information objects. Here's a picture of the browser window in NStudy. And